Instant match reaction, Aston Villa 3, Everton 0 at Villa Park. Rafa Benitez's Everton side suffer our first Premier League loss of the season. First loss of the season in any competition this evening. Wow, what a poor loss that was. It was all going so well, wasn't it? Worked hard in the first half, battled, had chances to score, as did Aston Villa to be fair, but we worked hard, got it in at 0-0. And then I thought we were the better team for 10 or 15 minutes in the second half, and all of a sudden, a little bit like the game against Burnley on Monday night, where we had a bit of a 6 minutes of madness in our favour. Tonight we had 9 minutes of madness, against us, and Aston Villa all of a sudden go 1-0 up, and then, like I said, within a couple of minutes it's 2-0 and it's 3-0 and it's game, set and match. We sort of knew this game was going to be a difficult game. Anyway, I mean, we knew it anyway because Aston Villa had a good side and spent a lot of money this summer, invested heavily. But then when we heard the team news an hour before the kick-off, and we heard Richarlison was out injured, Seamus Coleman out injured, Jordan Pickford out injured, James Rodriguez still not available to be in the squad as well. We sort of knew that this was gone from a tough game to a really, really tough game. And I don't want to hear any fan of any opposition football team in the Premier League moan that their club are treated worse with injuries, or they're the most unluckiest. I don't want to hear them lot over the park talk about how unlucky they are with injuries. Everton are the unluckiest team on this planet when it comes to injuries, mate. We're 5 games into a Premier League season and we've got our 2 strikers out. Now, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we know, could be out for 2-3 weeks, maybe more. Richarlison, the club have said today that there's a worry about how long he'll be out for after sustaining an injury in the game against Burnley on Monday night. We've got our captain out, of course, who we know is a pivotal member of this squad. Failed to bring in a right back in the summer, which we all said would come back to bite us on the arse. It's done exactly that today. And we've got our number 1 goalkeeper out, who's been absolutely fantastic so far this season. Not to mention, James Rodriguez. We don't know what's going on with him, whether he's fit, whether he's not fit, whether he can be asked, whether he can't be asked, whether he's, ready to play and the manager's just not picking him. We don't really know what's going on there. And unfortunately, Everton aren't a team at the moment that can afford to have 3-4 first teamers out injured. We just simply aren't. It disturbs the balance of the team, and it disturbs the way in which we play, and that was pretty much the entire spine of our side taken out there. The goalkeeper, your captain and your 2 centre forwards all taken out. From a side that was playing really well. So we knew it was going to be a struggle from minute 1. Asmir Begovic coming in, Ben Godfrey playing at right back, Solomon Rondon obviously starting his first game as an Everton player up front, Alex Iwobi coming in as well. And like I said, I thought Everton held their own for the opening first 45 minutes. Don't get me wrong, I didn't think it was a great 45 minutes of football, but I certainly thought we done okay. We battled, we fought. It was a hard-working first half performance, and whilst Aston Villa did have chances, and they did in that first half, I thought Everton had chances as well. The game could have easily... the first half could have easily ended 1-0 to either side. Damari Gray had a really good opportunity, breaks down that left-hand side, drives into the box, plays a good ball across the box, and Solomon Rondon just can't get to it. Solomon Rondon had a chance in the opening 5 or 10 minutes where the ball comes in, great ball in from Ben Godfrey, and he just can't sort his feet out and ends up going out for the corner. Matty Cash had a couple of shots for Aston Villa. Danny Ings had 1 or 2 as well. So it was a very even first 45 minutes and a very hard-working first 45 minutes from both sides, and you're sort of thinking, right, okay, typically this season we've been much better in the second half than we have in the first half. Go out there, again, soak up any pressure that they may put on you in the opening 4 or 5 minutes, and go out and nick the game. And I sort of felt in that second half, when it got to the 65th minute, I sort of felt that it was very much a 1-0 game. And by that, what I mean is that it would end 1-0 to either side. Very tight, affair, both teams having chances. Everton, I think, were the better side. In the second half, I thought we started the better team. We were getting forward. Damari Gray was having chances. As I said, Alex Iwobi started to move forward, and we looked like the more likely to score. And then all of a sudden, what I can only describe as a piece of awful defending by Luca Dean. And look, I like Luca Dean, and I love him as much as the next Evertonian, and I get that it's only 1 game and it's only 1 performance, and I understand that. But he was awful today. He was absolutely awful. That defending for that first goal is unacceptable. He's completely spun inside out. He's the wrong side of his man for a start, which as a Premier League top level football, one of the best levels of football in the world. You shouldn't be getting wrong side of your man in that position. Matty Cash simply spins him, like I said, gets on the inside and fires the shot past Asmir Begovic. Could Asmir Begovic have done a bit better? Maybe. The shot was it with a lot of venom, but maybe. And all of a sudden we go 1-0 down and you're thinking, right, it was a tough game beforehand. It's certainly a very tough game now. And from that point on, as I said, we had a period of 6 minutes against Burnley where we were absolutely electric, and we went from playing poorly to all of a sudden being a much better team. And it was very much that today, only Everton were on the receiving end of it. We went from playing well to all of a sudden within 9 minutes being 3-0 down, getting absolutely battered, and almost seeming like we were void of ideas. We just completely capitulated, didn't we, after the first goal went in, and started playing like we had 10 men. In fact, there was times where I was having to say to me dad, have we had a player sent off here, because we're literally playing like we've got 10 men on the pitch. And yet we got 1-0 down. Couple of minutes later, cross comes in. Luca Dean again goes from bad to worse for Luca. It's done it. Gets on the end of a header, gets on the end of a corner. Sorry, unfortunately, it's at the other end of the pitch and nods it in for a second for Aston Villa. And then 5 minutes later, again, criminal defending by Ben Godfrey. I thought Ben Godfrey played well in the first half. I thought he was getting forward, he was using his pace, he looked energised, he looked revitalised, he looked good on that right hand side. But again, you started to see his lack of match fitness. You started to see his you started to see the proof as to why he's not a right back effectively, and why he shouldn't really be playing at right back in that second half. Completely leaves Leon Bailey free. Leon Bailey is practically got a free run on goal, gets inside and smashes it past Asmir Begovic. Should the goalkeeper have done better? I think he should have for the second and the third, to be honest with you. I think the header's far too easily gone past him, and I think the third, as good of a strike it is by Leon Bailey, and as hard as he puts his foot through it, it basically goes through Asmir Begovic. It's not hit into any of the corners, it's straight through him, and it goes in for the third. And like I said, Everton just sort of fell to bits, completely capitulated, heads dropped, and we fell to bits. And it's certainly, you don't want to lose any game of football, but it's certainly not the way in which you want to lose your first Premier League game. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a little bit worried. Because when you read before the game, obviously yesterday, and in the pre-game press conference from Rafa Benitez, that Dominic Calvert-Lewin could still be out for an extra 2 or 3 weeks, and then you hear news today that Richarlison could be, there's fears about how long Richarlison could be out for. It's clear Solomon Rondon isn't fit, or certainly isn't, fit enough to be playing Premier League games of football. We've got no other striking option. Luca Dean's had a poor game today, and I'm not by any stretch of the imagination advocating Luca Dean, being taken out the team, but even if that was the case, we've got no other option to put him, to put in at left back. We've just loaned our only other left back out in the summer. Seamus Coleman obviously picked up an injury. We failed to go out and bring in a right back this summer. This is where the poor recruitment shows. In a game like today, this is where the failure in the recruitment this summer shows. We knew that there would come a point where Seamus Coleman picked up an injury or wasn't fit enough to start certain games. We've gotten to that point now. John Joe Kenny very clearly isn't good enough. Why he's still at the club is beyond me, because he very clearly isn't good enough. You put on a half-fit Ben Godfrey at right back, who A, as I said, is half-fit, B, isn't a natural right back, ahead of your backup to Seamus Coleman. Why didn't we sell him in the summer? And why didn't we go out and bring in a right back in the summer? It still baffles me. And yeah, like I said, almost at times it felt like we were playing with 10 men, and it worries me. It does, because we've got a game on Tuesday against QPR. You're looking at that game and thinking, well, who plays in that game? Because we've got no squad depth. We've got, there's no opportunity to, take a Damari Gray out the squad, for an example. Take Andros Townsend out the squad and save them for Norwich at the weekend. There's no chance to do that, because we've got nobody to step in. We knew Everton's squad depth was poor anyway. We knew that, and we really didn't need 4, 5, 6 big injuries to key players at this early stage in the season. We just didn't need it whatsoever. We really didn't. I mean, we were only able to field 8 substitutes today, when you can field a possible 9, and the majority of those substitutes were players that you knew were never going to come on and change the game. Yeah, like I said, I thought we started okay. I thought we managed the game well in the first half. Pardon me, sore throat. I thought we'd done okay in the opening 10-15 minutes of the second half, but then, Villa's first goal goes in, And it all sort of just falls to bits, really, doesn't it? And yeah, what can we do? What can we do other than pick ourselves up, go again, obviously on Tuesday, hopefully get a big win, hopefully bounce back. You know, we were very good last season at bouncing back from defeats. We were very good at reacting when losing, so hopefully it's the same this season. But I just look at the game on Tuesday and I just think, well, is it going to be another game where, you know, Andros Townsend, Damari Gray, Alex Iwobi, Alan, Decore, all of these players have got to play because we've simply got no other options. And then if we're going to get to the weekend against Norwich and everybody be absolutely shattered because they've had to play 2 games in the space of a week already, I really, really worry. But yeah, look, not much we could do, is there? Again, really, really poor way to to lose your first game of the season. Some absolutely embarrassing defending, to be fair. And yeah, Rafa Benitez's Everton side have suffered their first defeat. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed this one, please do leave it a like. We will be back with the player ratings very shortly, so don't forget to look out for those ones. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe as well. It only takes a second. And yeah, if you've enjoyed it, leave a like. Big thanks for watching. Awful result today. It wasn't a 3-0 game, to be fair, but that doesn't really make any difference, does it? You know, Monday night probably wasn't 3-1 to Everton, but we all sat here made up because we won 3-1, so doesn't really make a difference. We've got to do better defensively, but what can you do when your squad depth is that thin and you're having, you know, 4 or 5 first teamers picking up injuries at the same time? But there you go. Injuries aren't an excuse today. Defensively, we were really, really poor in that second half. Referee was shocking again. Craig Pawson, disgraceful refereeing performance, again proving why the referees in this league are the worst in the world, but he wasn't the reason why we didn't win that game or we didn't get anything out of that game. So we had chances in the first half, we didn't convert. We were the better side for 10 or 15 minutes in the second half. We didn't make anything of it, and Villa made us pay through our own faults, really. There you go. What more can you say? Big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon.